Hi, I'm John. I'm with On-Site Maintenance, and today we are going to discuss and do some training around the BC-10 business card slitter. Before we get into the machine though, I want to talk about the business card layout that this machine cuts. It cuts a 10 up layout on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, which means that there are 10 business cards on this sheet. And if they are in the right position on the page, the machine will cut them perfectly every time. Before we actually cut, we want to make sure that our layout is correct, so we will take a clear template. It'll be hard to see on the video, but there are black lines outlining a business card on this template so that you can lay it over your sheet and align it properly, and you can know for sure that your business cards are in the right place. When you're checking your template, make sure that you start at the top and you check each business card all the way down, because in some printing problems the top card will be correct and the bottom one won't. So make sure that you check your entire sheet. This is correct, so we can move on with the business card cutter. Before we do that, I want to discuss a little more about the layout. The BC-10 can cut using two different types of template. This is a single cut template, and as the name suggests, there is a single cut to be made between each business card, represented by the lines on this sheet. This is for basic business cards and is the simplest of the cutting that this machine will do. The other type of business card cut that it will do is what's called a double cut. And as the name suggests, there are two cuts between each business card. This allows for the business card to actually flow outside of its area for a full bleed, where the ink will run beyond the borders, and when you cut the card you'll have an effect of the ink going right to the edge. Next, we're going to talk about the control panel of the BC-10, and we will go through each button and its function. The first button on the control panel is labeled A, and this is only for a European size A4 paper, so we disregard that, and it's actually not even set to function. So we will start here at the L button for letter paper, which is the size that we use, and you can set the business card cutter to cut either single cut or double cut here. And we talked about the layout for those, so in this instance we're using the double cut. If your template has a cutting mark on it, make sure that the cut mark is on, and that will tell the machine to look for a cut mark and start cutting when it sees it. In this instance, we do not have a cut mark on our template. We will leave that off. In the center we have the counter and the mode by which the machine will cut the cards. So you can either have it set for adding, which means that the machine will run all of the sheets that are in the feed tray and just run until it's out, or you can set it for preset. And when you hit preset, it will now cut the number of business cards that are displayed on the counter. So in this instance it would cut one sheet or 10 business cards. If I wanted 50 business cards, it would pull 5 sheets from the feed tray and yield 50 cards. Make sure that if you are in preset mode that you have at least 10 in the counter, or the machine will not start. If it has 0, it will think it's cutting 0 cards. The top margin button allows you to adjust where the machine begins to cut the sheet as it moves through the machine. Because we use the clear template, and we know that our layout is correct on the page, we do not need to use the top margin adjustment. When you're cutting and you're in adding mode, the counter will tell you how many business cards it has cut. For each sheet it pulls through, it will add 10. When you're done with your job, you can hit the reset button to clear it back to 0. The ready clear light will illuminate when the machine is ready to cut. If you do not have a green light, press and hold the clear button until that light illuminates. If you can't get the light to illuminate, then recheck your settings. To start cutting, press the start button. To stop, press the stop button. Okay, so we're going to set up our business cards. We have a double cut template, and so we are going to set this for double cut. We do not have a cutting mark. We'll leave that off. We're going to just use the adding mode, which means the machine will run all of the sheets in the tray and tell us how many cards it cuts. We don't need to adjust the top margin. We are ready to go. So I'm going to load the cards and we'll test. To properly load the BC-10, you'll want to take your business cards and load them into the machine head first, top of the card running into the machine. Depress the in-feed table and place your sheet in so that it goes all the way to the top stop, and then release the table. You can put about 15 sheets at a time in here, but it's always good to run one sheet first to make sure that your settings are correct. Our settings are set. We are going to hit the start button and start cutting. So now we'll check our test run, and we see that we have a full bleed. All the ink goes right to the edge. The text lines up in the card. So this is correct. We can go ahead and load up the machine with the rest of our sheets and proceed.